Hi folks, Dan and Bob here, back in Port Prehistorique. This is our second episode in this park, and today we're going to be looking at a small section of the park focused on Psittacosaurus and its variants. We're going to start today on the bridge and move into the park to help orient y'all. You'll be getting glimpses of some things we're not going to talk about today, but that will be an ongoing thing for this park as a whole, since I pushed so far ahead on at least laying out and building so that I would have a 5-star park to be able to test crowds in the thing. There to the left was the Psittacosaurus habitat from the first episode, and now we're going to move into this area. I don't have a name for it yet. You can see the Psittacosaurus grouping using the signage on that rock, and that's probably where I'd put this sign. There's a habitat to the left and a habitat to the right. On the right is a favorite of mine for a first animal, which is the Psittacosaurus unspecified species, which is got a marvelous specimen, except for most of its head, but an amazing preservation, and in my head canon anyway, this would be a good choice for resurrecting an animal. The 3 Psittacosaurus in here have different environmental needs, which is pretty cool. And on the right there, you see this little plinth kind of thing with 3 Psittacosaurus on there. And this would be the explanation of how we're looking at diversity for the same genus of animal. Unfortunately, we can't do cool signs just yet in the game. One hopes we will someday, but not yet. Anyway, you can see a crowd going into this viewing area for one of the other variants, and the vegetation section there separating that little viewing area, like the Psittacosaurus one, where it emphasized being able to manipulate plant genes to deal with more water. That one would emphasize being able to manipulate them to deal with less water, allowing plants that like marshy vegetation to be functional in less marshy environments. So this is the largest of the Psittacosaurus variants, sometimes known as El Taco Grande. And so it likes sort of a coastal swampy environment, and the vegetation in the habitat sort of reflects that. They've got enough water to go swimming in, and there goes one trying it out right now in full swim mode, and there goes another one. What are we going to have a swim party here? Really nice the way the guys can use the rocks like that to come up and sort of stand on them, like this one's doing in the center screen right now. Really like that in the game, even if it does mean occasionally they start drinking water from up there. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to move to the right of that pedestal with the 3 Psittacosaurus in order to take a look at another feature of a couple of these habitats. You can see a patio here for the guest amenity building, and it has its own view of this Psittacosaurus non-specific species. That non-specific part is an awful lot of the speciation differentiations for Psittacosaurus comes from the head, the particular size and orientation of its ornamentation. So without that, which that specimen lacked, you have a hard time telling which kind it should be. Anyway, so there's a couple of restrooms back here. There's a gift shop. You can see people in line to use it. And this also forms a barrier to the behind-the-scenes area of the park. The third and final of the Psittacosaurus ones is Psittacosaurus mongoliensis. I usually put this guy in with Protoceratops for the species bonus. And it's a desert environment. I was having some arguments with just how much plants should be in this habitat. And so it looks kind of bare. Subsequently, I was able to add a few more. I guess the game is still having some hiccups in calculating that kind of percentage and such. So each of these habitats have a little turnout where guests can view the habitat, although right now guests seem to be using it as a thoroughfare as much as anything else. And here, again, about water environments, and also for the plants, that is, and also the fast growth of trees. So there was the 3 stages of the date palm in that area. So look at the mass of crowds there, and we're going to pop up and get a look at this whole area. Whole area for this portion of the park. The 3 habitats, the guest amenities area, and the relationship to the bridge. You can see one of the problem areas there down to the lower right corner where I've got a bunch of guests clumping. So there's the Psittacosaurus on indeterminate species habitat in the far side, very wooded and very shaded forest kind of environment. And didn't go over there. A lot of circling there. This is taking a little bit longer than I had originally intended, but it does give me a little bit more time to talk. And then the coastal marshy habitat for the big taco. It's got a rock shelter. These are all small animals, and I think that in a lot of cases there wouldn't be a dedicated keeper building for each of the habitats. So that's probably going in the backstage area off to the left part, and then it will also serve as the keepers can move into the habitats just by going through a gate. And the mongoliensis habitat, again with a place for the animals to take shelter right there, and in general just an open environment. So that's pretty much it for this version of the Port Prehistorique tours. Next time we'll be looking at something that I realized after putting in these basic first animals, more or less enough to get a full 1 star, that I didn't have to worry about going through that since it's a sandbox one, and did some stuff a little bit differently. But I still wanted the park to have that sense that it was built up. So probably, even though Coelophysis was the first one in game, this Psittacosaurus area would have been the first portion of the park, because you can see the backstage stuff there with those greenhouses I built and the large building, which is where the nursery is. Anyway, thanks for stopping by today and taking a look at this video. If you liked it, you know what button to push. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. It's encouragement for me to keep going. Until next time, be kind to each other and take care of yourself out there. Dino Bob, signing off for this week. Bye now.